Who would I be without you? That is the question. What is the statement? The statement is a comment that I received on a video I made called, "Do you respect a man less if he is noticeably balding?" I've received 14 comments so far, and here's the one I gotta share with you. Our great friend Kwon Kao had this to say, and this is brilliant. Quote, "It's not a question of respect, but you can see if a person is confident or not. There is an episode of The Simpsons where Homer shaves his head and Marge says, 'Homer, you're bald.' And Homer replies, 'I'm now cool guy bald, not sad guy bald.'" So I guess it's a question of, does the person have self-respect and dignity? Then it doesn't matter if you're bald or not to me. Just need to own it, I suppose, end quote. And I think that perfectly reflects everything I've heard from society about how they feel about hair loss. People's honest answer most of the time is, if you're noticeably balding, just shave it off. But if you're noticeably balding and you don't shave it off and you're trying to have a comb over and trying to look desperate in your way to save your, that's what society does not accept. And I think it goes back to this quote here, and it's excellent. This thing about Homer Simpson talking about the difference between there being cool guy bald and sad guy bald. And I think it is pretty funny to think about that. When we think of like laughable balding, we would think about the character Kevin from The Office. How he's got the thick brown hair around here, basically nothing up here. That whole concept, the way I guess men had hair in the, or Dr. Phil as we would say, to leave the horseshoe when you're completely bald on top. That is what I'm supposing we're understanding the meaning of sad guy bald, where it's just, and I think even one of my favorite comedians, he's still one of my favorite comedians, Louis C.K. You know, I think part of why he's funny is that he kept his hair that way. I think that's part of the appeal, because I made the video talking about how Jerry Seinfeld had said that if you're too good looking, you can't be funny. And I'm still struggling to think of one funny male comedian that does stand up. I can't think of one. None of them are too good looking. Maybe Jim Carrey is the closest we come to. He started out on comedy. He's probably the most handsome man of comedy, and he did start out in stand-up. But even then, he's known for making all the silly faces, right? So he takes himself out of his handsomeness in order to become this funny thing. So totally, that's a good call. There's sad guy bald, where it's just, you seem kind of weak and pathetic and outdated and not cool. But then all you have to do is just shave it all off, finish the job, finish the deal, and suddenly you're cool. You go from sad to cool just by finishing the job. And that is interesting, but it's society's perception of it, okay? Because we can say all day long, oh, I don't have the right head shape to shave it off. Well, still though, in a very all or nothing situation, society has come to the point now where they perceive a shaved head as being cool and edgy and, if anything, rock star. You know, it's funny because I think it wasn't always that way. It used to be, if you're a rock star, you need to have like long flowing hair. And now it's a matter of being rebellious. Then just shave it off. Do like Billy Corgan did in the 90s with the Smashing Pumpkins. And that was edgier than any man's hair at the time, and it still is. I mean, that's just one easy example I can think of. And a similar note, almost a rabbit trail, but the fact of like, even being a vegan, I think is more rock and roll than just complete access and all this drugs and stuff. I think there's something to be said about being countercultural. And still, when you're going balding and you can embrace it enough to get rid of it all, that's something very rock and roll. Because being cool, part of being cool is to be rebellious. Part of being cool is to be so confident. And shaving off all your hair is cool, bald guy, versus the guy who, even if he's not bothered by it, if you have noticeable major real estate leaving up here and it's still thick here, that's sad guy bald. And so as far as this goes, you could easily become cool guy bald. And even if you say, but Nick, I don't have the right head shape. Yeah, but you've got a better head shape to shave it all off than you do to keep it and have the whole horseshoe. People are going to respect you more if you get rid of all your hair than they are to think, Why he's holding on to his hair? Why not just shave it all off? So yeah, that is brilliant. Thank you for sharing.